Welcome to Book Whispers. This playlist is designed to help ninth class students of the Sindh and Karachi board improve their English reading skills, all with a clear, native English accent. If you're looking for the same chapters with Urdu translation, just click the link on the screen or check the description below for the full playlist. And if you find this helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to support the channel. The secret of success. A long time ago, there lived a king who was in search of the secret of success. He thought if he could find out the answers to 3 questions, he would discover the secret and never fail. He thought and thought for many days, but the answers evaded him. So, he called all his ministers and asked them these 3 questions. 1. What is the most important time to start something? 2. What is the most important work to do? 3. Who is the most important person? But none of them could come up with a satisfactory answer. Next, he called all his courtiers and asked them the same questions. They discussed and debated for long, but none of their answers satisfied the king. He then called the wise and learned men of his country to his court. He discussed the problem with them for many days. They too were unable to satisfy the king because they could not see eye to eye with each other and ended up arguing amongst themselves. They came up with many different answers, but none of the answers provided any meaningful solution. The king then asked his ministers to announce that whoever answers these questions would get a reward of 5,000 gold coins. Many people came and talked to the king, but their answers did not satisfy the king. At some distance from the capital, there was a jungle. The king had heard that in the jungle there lived an old wise man who was considered a saint. He lived all alone. His fame had spread far and wide as someone who would solve everyone's problem. The king decided to consult the wise old saint. But the problem was he only mixed with the poor and needy. He did not mix with the rich and wealthy. Since the saint did not like meeting wealthy people, the king started thinking as how to approach him. The king pondered and thought deeply about a way to meet the saint. Soon he came up with a plan. He dressed himself in rags and set out to see the wise old saint. Since he wanted to appear poor and destitute, he asked his servants to remain behind. Alone, he headed straight for the saint's hut. When the king arrived at the hut, the saint was digging the ground in front of his hut. He was old and weak, and as he worked he was breathing hard. He tired quickly and stopped frequently to rest. The king approached him and addressed him directly. "Sir, I have come a long way to ask you the answers to 3 important questions." The king continued, "My first question is, what is the most important time to start some work? My second question is, what is the most important work to do? And third, who is the most important person?" Humbly, the king continued, "Would you kindly help me by telling the answers to these questions?" The saint paid no attention to the king and continued digging. The king waited for a few moments and then said, "Sir, you look tired. Let me dig the ground for you." The saint thanked him and gave him the spade, and the king started digging. After some time, the king repeated the questions and requested the answers. But all that the saint said to the king was, "Let me dig now." The king did not give him the spade and kept digging. He remained calm and did not lose patience. The hope that he would find the answers to his questions kept him motivated and determined. When evening fell and the light began to fade, he stopped digging and turned to the saint. He said, "Could you please let me have the answers to my questions now?" The saint remained silent and pointed to one side. The king glanced in that direction and saw that a bearded man with a dagger in his hand was running towards them. When he reached them, he fell down and fainted. The king straightway picked up the bearded stranger and carried him into the hut and laid him down on the ground. The king noticed that the man was injured, so he immediately took steps to stop the bleeding and, with the help of the saint, he bandaged his wounds. The bearded man fell into a deep, restful sleep. By now, night had fallen, and it was very dark. The king was too tired to return home. The saint invited him to stay the night, and the king accepted the saint's hospitality. The saint prepared some simple food and provided the king with a bedding of hay to sleep on. At break of day, the king awoke. He found that the bearded man too was awake. The king said, "How do you feel now?" The bearded man replied, "I am better now, thanks to your majesty. Forgive me, I came to kill you because you had my brother killed. I became your bitter enemy out of grief. I was hiding and waiting for your return. As you did not return, I came out of my hiding place. That's when your servants saw me. They immediately recognized me. They wounded me seriously, but I escaped. Had you not cared for me, I would have died. I thank you. Now, count on me as one of your most faithful servants." Saying this, he saluted the king and left. When the bearded man had departed, the king again asked the saint for the answers to his questions. The saint replied, "Your questions have already been answered. First, the most important time was when you wanted to help me. The most important work was the digging of the ground, and I was the most important person for you. Had it not been so, you would have returned and been killed." The saint continued, "The second time, the most important man was the bearded man. The most important work was dressing his wound. Had it not been so, you would not have won a faithful servant. You are very fortunate. So, this is the moral of the lesson. The most important time for doing anything is the present. The most important work is what we are doing now. And the most important person is the one whom we are with at the moment." Thanks for listening to Book Whispers, where every story helps you grow. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe to stay updated with daily English stories and learning resources. Explore our playlists for more reading practice, vocabulary building, and Urdu translations. Until next time, keep learning and keep whispering knowledge.